In a quiet village surrounded by green fields and distant hills, there lived a humble water carrier. Every morning before sunrise, he would walk down a winding path to the river, fill 2 large clay pots with water, and carry them back on a wooden pole balanced across his shoulders. This was his daily routine, one that had shaped his life for many years. He sold the water to families in the village, earning just enough to buy food and maintain his simple home. One of the pots was strong and perfect, beautifully shaped, with a smooth surface that glistened when the sun hit it. The other pot, however, had a long crack running down one side. No matter how carefully the man filled it, by the time he reached the village, half the water had leaked out. Over time, the cracked pot grew ashamed of its flaw. It watched the perfect pot deliver a full measure of water every day, while it felt useless, broken, and guilty for wasting the man's effort. One morning, as the man prepared to fetch water again, the cracked pot finally spoke. "Master," it said softly, "I want to apologize." The water carrier looked surprised, but listened patiently. "Why would you apologize, my friend?" he asked. The pot sighed. "Because I am broken. Every day you carry me to the river and fill me with water, but by the time we return, I am only half full. You do all the work, yet I failed to deliver my part. You should replace me with a better pot." The water carrier smiled gently, his eyes kind and wise. "Tomorrow," he said, "I want you to notice something on our journey back from the river." The cracked pot was puzzled, but agreed. The next morning, as the sun rose over the horizon, painting the fields in gold, the man lifted his pole, balancing the 2 pots as usual, and began his long walk down the path. He filled both pots at the river and started the journey home. As they walked, the cracked pot noticed the path on its side was lined with bright wildflowers, red, yellow, and purple. The colors danced in the breeze, vibrant against the green grass. When they reached home and the man set the pots down, the cracked pot couldn't hold its curiosity. "Master," it said, "I noticed that there are flowers all along my side of the path, but not on the other side. Why is that?" The man's eyes twinkled. "Because I knew about your crack from the first day I began using you. So I planted flower seeds on your side of the path. Every day, as we walked back from the river, you watered them. Over time, they grew and bloomed, filling the road with beauty. I pick those flowers and sell them in the market, earning extra money. Because of you, my dear pot, this path has become beautiful, and my life has become richer." The cracked pot was silent, overwhelmed. It had spent all this time feeling weak and useless, never realizing that its flaw had given life to something beautiful. What it thought was a burden had become a blessing. From that day onward, it no longer felt ashamed. Instead, it took pride in every drop of water that fell from its crack, knowing it was watering flowers and spreading beauty with each step. Days turned into months, and the cracked pot continued its journey with a new sense of purpose. Every time it passed the flowers, it felt joy, realizing that even broken things can serve a higher purpose if used with wisdom. The perfect pot, which once prided itself on being flawless, began to envy the cracked pot. "You leak water, yet everyone praises you. I am perfect, yet no one notices me," it said one day. The cracked pot smiled. Perhaps perfection isn't about holding everything inside. Sometimes it's about what you give away that matters most. The perfect pot said nothing, but those words stayed with it. The water carrier, wise and kind, had taught both pots a lesson without ever scolding or comparing them. He saw value where others saw weakness, and he knew how to turn imperfection into purpose. Life, like the cracked pot, is filled with flaws, mistakes, and imperfections, but those flaws can create beauty when used correctly. Many people go through life feeling broken because of past failures, missed opportunities, or personal insecurities. They compare themselves to others who appear perfect and forget that even their cracks can water someone else's flowers. The cracked pot story is a reminder that weakness does not mean worthlessness. The greatest strength lies in embracing who you are, using your imperfections to bring light to others. One day, a traveler passing through the village noticed the beautiful flowers along the path and asked the water carrier, "How did this road become so full of life?" The man smiled and pointed toward the cracked pot. "Thanks to this pot. It leaks water every day, and in so doing, it nurtures the flowers you see." The traveler was amazed. "You mean something broken created all this beauty?" The water carrier nodded. "Yes. You see, everything in life has a purpose, even the broken things. We just need to look at them differently." The traveler smiled and continued on his way, carrying the lesson in his heart. Over the years, people from nearby villages came to see the flower path. It became a place of peace and reflection. The cracked pot, though still imperfect, had become a silent teacher to everyone who walked by, a symbol of hope and transformation. The water carrier grew older, but never replaced his cracked pot. When others asked why, he simply replied, "Because this pot gave me more than water. It gave me wisdom." He understood what few ever do. Perfection is not the goal. Purpose is. Life is not about being flawless, but about finding meaning in your flaws. If we learn to see our weaknesses as opportunities, every crack becomes a channel for light. Every mistake, a seed for growth. The cracked pot's journey mirrors the journey of every person who has ever felt inadequate, who has doubted their worth or questioned their purpose. The truth is, every person has something unique to offer. Some bring strength, others bring compassion, creativity, or understanding. And sometimes it's the people who feel the most broken who bring the most beauty into the world. The water carrier's path bloomed because of what was once seen as a defect. The same is true for life. Growth often comes from the very things we wish we could hide. When you accept your imperfections and turn them into purpose, you not only transform yourself, but also inspire others to do the same. One evening, as the sun dipped below the hills and the fields turned golden, the old water carrier rested beside his two pots. He looked at the cracked pot and said softly, "You have done well, my friend. You taught me that nothing in this world is truly useless. Everything and everyone has a role to play." The cracked pot gleamed faintly in the sunset, its crack shining like a scar of honor. It no longer saw itself as broken. It saw itself whole in its own way. The flowers along the path swayed gently in the evening breeze, a living testament to the pot's journey and the water carrier's wisdom. Together, they told a story without words, a story of purpose, acceptance, and transformation. In this story, we learned that life will always present cracks, disappointments, failures, and wounds that seem to weaken us. But when we choose to see them as opportunities to create something meaningful, those cracks become the very things that let our light shine through. The cracked pot's journey reminds us that our value isn't in perfection, but in what we give to the world through our imperfections. So the next time you feel broken or less than others, remember the cracked pot and the flowers along the path. Remember that your weaknesses might just be watering someone else's garden. And perhaps, like that humble pot, you too will one day realize that your cracks were never a curse. They were your greatest gift all along. If this story inspired you, don't forget to subscribe Wisdom Life and also like, comment, and share the video to unlock more life-changing lessons.